From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
January 10th, the year is 2020. You're listening to the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Huckabee, here in Nashville, Tennessee, and back there in Orlando, Florida, making sure that we stay on the rails and don't go into the ditch is our friend, our illustrious producer, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
Meanwhile, ensuring that we do go off the rails and into a ditch up there in Loveland, Virginia, is our friend Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello. A lot to get to today. A lot of hot topics.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of hot ones.
Yeah,
a lot of hot topics.
I feel like Chandler and Jesse are locked in this immortal combat. Just two sides. It's like the yin and the yang. One trying to keep maintain like a series of order, and then Jesse is like an agent of chaos, like
That's
Batman,
right.
The Joker. Just you never know who's going to come out on top.
Why so serious, Chandler?
Been going long before this podcast started.
Serious?
And then out there on the West Coast, we're always happy to welcome to the Relevant Podcast. I don't know what force you're for, Prob, but we're proud to welcome back our friend Propaganda.
What's up, Wes?
Do you see yourself as more of a chaotic energy or order energy, Prop?
Here's how I like to explain it.
Okay.
I think of it as like watercoloring.
Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
water is fluid. If you let it do what it does, matched with the abilities that you have, there can be beauty. So it's beauty and chaos. So there's free forming. You can't force the water to do stuff, but you can dance with it. So I'm not order and chaos. I'm about the dance.
Oh, the dance.
That was way more in depth. You'd put much more thought into that than I thought you really had,
yeah.
and that was a really
I think
beautiful.
about it often.
I'm glad you're here. That's going to add a lot to this podcast. And you're just very pretty, like watercolor as well.
I'm more of a sand art guy. You guys remember that from like elementary school? You get the pink sand and the blue sand and the green sand, and then I just shake it all up and get brown sand. And that's more my style, just seeing what the sand will do.
Yeah.
Because with props, water goes whatever. Sand, you just got a big mess at the end of the day, and everyone's mad at you. That's my philosophy for my own art. Create a big mess,
I'm
get
very
everyone
familiar
mad.
with it.
I think I'm more of a tie-dye guy. Like, you put a bunch of different colors on me, you tie me up, you throw me into some water, let me soak there overnight, and then you pull me out, open me up, and you're like, oh, that was kind of cool in the 70s. That was pretty much the extent of my...
Okay.
That's the energy that I bring to this podcast. Jesse, you were right. We do have a lot to get to today. We're talking to, this is going to be fun. We're talking to Echosmith frontwoman, Sydney Sierota. She's here to talk about the band's new album, The Lonely Generation. That actually comes out today. So that's cool. Been a while since we heard from Echosmith. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that conversation. Yeah. We also want to talk, Prop, I'm glad you're here because you've got some stuff to talk about. You just started we were talking about this before we started recording. You're becoming a podcast mogul.
Yeah,
you're
man.
Becoming, you're like a
Minus the
CEO.
money.
You're like a corporate. You're like a corporate businessman with no money. So not really like a corporate businessman at all. But you've got a new podcast called the Hood Politics.
Hood Politics with Prof. Yeah. So when we did the Red Couch Pod, it was always broken up into segments. And what we started finding was like, people chose which segment they would skip to. So it's like, you would come either for Hood Politics or you would come for some of the social, political, social, emotional stuff that like Alma would bring. So then there just became a demand. It was like, man, Hood Politics needs to be its own. At first I was like, man, well, nobody's going to listen to the Red Couch if we, but we found a good like happy medium, and I'm super excited. It launches first shows today, actually this Friday. Man, and it's like the biggest like philosophy. This is a big answer, but like I want y'all to come. Hopefully, y'all listeners will come check it out. But it's like, okay, so. Before I was a musician, before I did music full time, at least I was a high school teacher. And in California, for ninth grade, like social science, you have to pass 3 different parts of tests, like world history, U.S. history, and then like government and economics. Right. And I failed the economics test 3 times. And like, for me, I'm like, okay, I was like, not Rhodes Scholar, but I was like National Honor Society, like 3.8 GPA. Like this was so new to me to fail stuff. And it wasn't because I didn't know the content. I'm from inner city Los Angeles. It's real simple. You spend money. You don't spend money you don't have. That's easy, right? You know, spend money on stuff that's going to make you money. I don't understand why this is so hard. Like, so it wasn't that I didn't know the answers. I just didn't know how they wanted me to say the answer. Right.
Oh, I see.
So, but that'll start making you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. But I was like, God, I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know how to say it to you. And I feel like a lot of people feel like that with politics. It's like they're using all these words and make you feel like you don't know what it is. But I want you to know that's really the science behind it. You do actually know. It's just no one said it for you in a way you understand. So it's not like I'm not giving commentary. I'm not trying to tell you what to think about it. It's just more like, here's a way to understand what's happening. And it's just gangbanging. That's what politics is.
So Prop, for maybe a little sample, I don't want to give away too much of the first show, which drops tomorrow. So maybe this could be an abbreviated version. But like the situation that we're the America's in right now, where the president ordered basically an assassination on the leader of a foreign military, a general from Iran in Iraq. There has been a series of provocations on both sides. Yeah. It looks like, the conflict was escalating, but day by day, it seems like it might be de-escalating. It seems very complex. If you had to do a hood politics take on what's happening right now between the U.S. and Iran, that's somewhat abbreviated, to give people a sample of the show, how would you break the situation down?
Well, that's great because that is the first episode. It's pretty simple. It's like you're still talking about like two very complicated, not so good dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so wherever we're talking about like violence, it's like that dude's a hero to your neighborhood, to his neighborhood, and my guy's a hero to my neighborhood, even though I know this guy's probably actually very dangerous. I would never let him like babysit my kids, but I mean, it's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is like, this guy heard the other guy was talking crap and said he was going to jump me after school. So I'm not just going to wait for this fool to jump me after school. I'm going to find out what his fifth period is. And, I'm just going to go like punch the guy in class in front of everybody. So everybody thinks I'm crazy. But the problem is that might be a mistake because the dude you punched may decide, okay, this is the last time you're going to pick on me. Right. And sometimes bullies get knocked out because of that, because you just choose the wrong dude on the wrong day. Right. So this might be our situation. Now, here's another take for it for the rest of America. It's like, hey, you ever been like sitting at the table with, let's just say you're sitting at your lunch table with like all your friends or something. Okay. And one of your friends just happens to be a loudmouth. Right. And he just decides to just roast some dude walking across the lunchroom. Right. He just roasts him. None of us asked him. He didn't confer with us as to whether he was going to roast this dude, right? But he just decides to.
To be fair, you're describing the last time we went out to lunch and I, for some reason, wanted to talk smack to just a random table in the Chipotle.
He just out of nowhere, Jesse just starts talking smack to this dude. And the dude looks at the table and goes, not at the guy talking crap. He looks at the table and he says, hey, is that your boy? Is that your boy? And your boy goes,
met that guy. I've never met that guy.
Yeah, I never met. Yeah, and then the boy goes, yeah, you're like, I don't know what he talking about, but you can't say I don't know what he talking about because y'all sitting together. Yeah. We all been sitting together this whole time. So now that guy walks over to his own table, and then 50 dudes stand up, and they're all freaking bodybuilders, and now we all got to fight. None of us asked to fight, but now we all got to fight because you just started talking.
Well, to be fair, Prop, that guy had an obnoxious amount of guacamole on his bowl, and someone needed to say something.
Exactly.
Someone needed to say something. There's only so much at the restaurant. A lot of people like guac.
I wasn't there for this, but Jesse, I want you to know that anytime we're in public, if you decide to pick a fight with somebody, no matter how many friends he has, no matter how jacked these guys are, I got your back. I'll be there for you, but I'll follow.
Good.
I'll follow you into. It could be the entire football team. They come at us, you and me, 1-on-1. We will go down fast and hard. We will lose. We may well die, but I don't abandon my friends. I'm like the NATO of friends.
Yes.
So Pop. So
NATO
each week.
friends.
So I got another question about the pod about hood politics.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Each week now, are you guys tackling like a different political situation, like a single political situation each week, or just kind of what is happening in politics that week, even if it's sort of a bunch of stuff?
It's a little bit of both because, like, you know, there's sometimes, like, if we were going to talk about the impeachment, like right now, the impeachment's like, it's pretty much at a standstill. So we can't really do a thing about that. You know what I'm saying? But if there are, like, we're going to try to do, depending on who the guests are, like, and what their expertise is, try to do some things like we got one show planned that's just a deep dive into the, like, Iran-Iraq war, right?
Yeah.
And then there's going to be one where we're just going to talk about like sanctions and what sanctions mean. And you know what I'm saying? So like there will be some things that are just like, this is a political concept. This is what that means when they say that. And then, but because of just the nature of 2020, it's like, there's no shortage of new hot headlines
material.
Right? Yes.
I'm glad the show is coming out now, but I kind of wish that and maybe you could do like the you know, stories that you know that still have legs, they're a little evergreen, because I would have loved to hear the hood politics take on the Christianity Today editorial and the weird response from both sides. We've talked about a lot on this pod, but I would love a hood politics. Can you do this at some point in the year? Can you sort of do, you know, stories we missed or something like that and do a take on that? Because I feel like that one is just rife with interesting analogies about the dynamics happening there.
That's easy.
Well, I'm in.
Easy,
yeah, that's easy.
I'm in.
That's feuding. That's feuding blood hoods. Like, aren't y'all both bloods? You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's like, I guess, okay. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that's like an inner gang rivalry. Like that's two dudes in the same crew. Yeah.
I'm confused. Y'all both wearing red.
Yeah. And now they're throwing down.
And next thing you know, they're throwing down in a Chipotle. So something's going on there.
Something's really going on. Which is so crazy because it's actually pretty normal that like it sets beef between each other. If you're not involved, you don't understand what's happening, which is basically the rest of non-evangelical America going, I'm sorry, what? I thought y'all liked each other. Nope.
I like that both of these that we've brought, those of these political situations we've brought up so far have, and I hope this is going to be the theme of hood politics. You've used an analogy of a brawl to explain both of them because that really has helped crystallize it for me. That's probably pretty fair. That's probably not like an unfair, like you could probably boil down most of the things happening in America right now to some sort of, you're out with your boys, you see another group of boys, and then just take it from there.
No matter what we think about it, it's like, well, I guess we fighting today. Yeah.
Well, listen, someone just threw a brown bag of tortilla chips at my buddy. Here we go again. Chipotle fight time. Yeah, we've
Chipotle
all been there.
fight.
All right.
Okay,
so it's called Hood Politics.
Hood Politics.
It's out today.
Yes.
It's out today. People, as soon as they're done listening to this podcast, they can go right over there, listen to you talk about. If you like the first 5 minutes of this podcast, you're going to love the entirety of Hood Politics.
Yes.
But unfortunately, now we have to move on to Echosmith and stuff for those people.
I'm not talking about relevant-y things.
Yeah, relevant. We got relevant stuff too.
Yes.
We do have some more stuff coming up. We even got some politics.
We have a couple stories that have
we got some
a
political stories
coming
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're not done talking about brawls yet. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be doing the Hot West. You're listening to Mono No Aware by Great Grandpa. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Grant Green by Mr. Jukes. Is there a Mrs. Jukes at home? All right, so it's time for our weekly look back.
Tyler, a joke like that is enough to get you beat up at a Chipotle. So let's just
I'm
watch yourself.
well aware of exactly who I'm provoking.
And as a sidebar, I am a huge Mr. Jukes fan and tried to reach out to him for my record.
Okay, well, if you could apologize to him on my behalf, I was not trying to insult Mrs. Jukes. I'm sure she's lovely.
Still doesn't know who I am. He didn't respond.
Well, I hope Tyler doesn't see Mr. or Miss Jukes in a Chipotle because of that joke. I will not have his back. I will watch him get beat down and get sour cream.
Yo,
that's all right. I brought this on myself. Time for a weekly look back at the top 5 stories that caught our eye in the section of faith and culture this week. It's time for
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
Number 5 this week. Timothée Chalamet will be playing Bob Dylan in a movie from the Logan director. Okay, so I'm interested in y'all's thoughts on this. So we all know who Timothée Chalamet is.
We don't. We don't all know. Slow down.
We don't know. Okay.
Don't all know.
2/3 of this podcast knows.
Can't just be naming white boys and thinking I know him.
What about the name Timothée Chalamet makes you think that he's a white boy?
Arguably one of the whitest names ever.
Yeah. Him and Tanner.
Chandler, do you know who Timothée Chalamet is?
I do not.
Okay, so half the podcast knows who Timothée Chalamet is and half does not. So Timothée Chalamet, I think he kind of first got big in Call Me by Your Name, and he was in Little Women this year. He was the non-woman in Little Women. He's going to be in Dune later this year.
God, none of this is helping.
He's like a fairly famous young actor.
I'm just gonna have to Google him. Apparently, right?
I know who he is.
Yeah, I think
he kind of he's kind of got like a Bob Dylan look to him.
Oh, okay.
He looks a little like Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
you know that guy?
Yeah, this dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's kind of tiny. He's like a small boy.
I got to say that my phone was listening to us pod because I just typed in TIM and it knew I was looking for this guy.
Not surprising.
Friggin' phone.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I didn't know that.
It's creepy.
He's got a new role. He's going to be playing Bob Dylan in the next music biopic. It's called Going Electric. It'll tell the story of the singer's infamous turn from folk to rock and roll. This movie is going to be directed by James Mangold, who did Walk the Line, Ford versus Ferrari, and Logan. It's a good fit for Chalamet, who looks a little bit like Dylan and whose own star has rocketed into a rare stratosphere. Not if you ask people on this podcast, but a lot of people would say rocketed into a rare stratosphere over the last few years from turns in Call Me by Your Name and Lady Bird to this year's The King and Little Women. This is the latest attempt to tell Dylan's story. The most recent one was in 2007 with I'm Not There, which cast Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Marcus Carl Franklin, Richard Gere, Heath Ledger, and Ben Whishaw as Dylan in an unconventional attempt to tackle his chameleon-like persona. And then, of course, there's also Scorsese's documentary, No Direction Home. All right, so where are we at on the musical biopic thing in general?
I want to defer to Prop here because Prop, you're an artist, and so you have a unique perspective on this. And we're kind of in this golden age of biopics. We had the Queen one, we had the one on Elton John, we had the NWA one a couple years ago. As an artist, what are your feelings about this kind of biopic resurgence we're in right now?
Man, I like it in this sense, when I think of like the music that changed and just shaped my parents, like I could not emotionally relate to it. Like they put on a Temptations, they put on OJs, they put on like, I remember when I was a kid, I watched like a Josephine Baker, like, film where, what I'm saying, and like Dorothy Dandridge, like these songs, these stuff that like were icons for my parents that I just could not relate to because I wasn't there. I don't understand college at the time. You know what I'm saying? So there's a part of me that is excited for that, for this group of, 20 somethings to be able to be like, nah, like the boomers aren't making up how important Bob Dylan is. Like, we're not making this up. Like that fool, what I'm saying, changed the world. So there's a part of me that like is excited about that like the movie will bring that interest back into kids and in the same way that it like made me appreciate more Motown in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? I appreciated it more because I saw it in a movie. Because it's hard, you know, when you hear just the sound quality of like your parents' like records or tapes. It's like I tried to show I didn't want to show my like children the first 3 Star Wars, the New Hope, because I was just like, you're not gonna appreciate it because visually it's just not there. You know what I'm saying? So having something updated is like super fresh. Having said that, I am vehemently against bad biopics.
Yes.
Good Lord. Like the Aaliyah one, like the Aaliyah biopic was terrible. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you can't do it justice, stop in the middle. Yes.
Just the Aaliyah one was good. There are so many.
Just abandoned shit.
Anytime that people don't put in the requisite, like it seems like all of these middling ones that they try for like a Lifetime TV thing, those crash and burn so fast, and everybody knows the entire time. Like as soon as that first picture comes out, like we've got our first look at this person as
a disaster,
as iconic. And as soon as you see it, you're like, nope, guys,
this is a disaster.
I can tell from one behind the scenes photo, this is doomed to failure.
Yeah.
Surely somebody there can tell.
All right. Well, on that note, then, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, there's an Aretha Franklin one coming out too, starring Jennifer Hudson.
And I'm
which
nervous.
I think is, are you?
But she's the one. She's the one. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying like if anybody has to do it, it's Jennifer Hudson. The problem is if the director don't get it, like especially somebody like Riri, like you have to capture that soul. If you don't capture the soul, like. What do we? It's okay. So take the Biggie documentary, Notorious, or not the Biggie movie, Notorious. Homie sounded like Biggie. Homie listens, look like Biggie. That wasn't a good movie because I was like, I ain't got the feels I had.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the NWA though, straight out of Compton, I was like, you transfixed me. This is it. We're here.
That was great.
Yes.
That was a really good movie.
Nailed it.
Straight Outta Compton was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Okay, so how about this? If you got to green light any biopic on any artist throughout history, who would you choose?
That's a good question.
Any artist, because
any artist in history, that's not
there's
fair.
some likelihood that it'll probably happen at this point.
Yeah. Dang, dude, like that's too hard.
You know who
man,
I would want to see? I think who is super fascinating is Hendrix. There needs to be a good Jimi Hendrix documentary.
There was one with
there was a medium good one.
A medium good one with Andre 3000.
Yeah, Andre.
That's right. I totally forgot about that one.
He looked great. He looked the part. He sounded like Hendrix. The movie was like okay, I would say, but he was the right guy. He was the guy that they cast him. Speaking of, I would do an Andre biopic.
I was going to say, like, we need an Outkast movie.
Give me an Outkast movie. You could cast them. I don't care.
Even in the Christian, I've always felt like Keith Green was an interesting cat back in the 70s. Kind of a hippie, kind of CCM guy. Didn't he die in a plane crash pretty young?
He died. I don't know how. I know he died young. Like, I know he had an untimely death, but I don't know what happened to him.
I'd love to see like biopics on some of the like people that shaped the sound. So like a Timberland, like a Pharrell, even a Jay Dilla, like some of like the producers, you know what I'm saying, that like turned like you can't understate what Timberland did to modern music. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just or the whole scene. So if you say like there's I think that would be more interesting to me, like if they did pieces, movies about an entire scene. So like the Detroit sound, the that Miami or that Virginia
that's
Beach.
Kind of cool, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Virginia Beach scene that just like, it just changed music. Rex and Effects freaking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Clips. And I mean, that scene is still, shaping. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I live here, but even with, Kanye's latest, and you see everything going on with a good music and, there's still, exactly. That whole sound kind of originated, from artists around here,
Yeah.
But
this is going to sound like a bit, but I do mean this serious. I was actually talking to my wife about this a couple weeks ago. I think that the biopic that if I could greenlight one, and this is true, I would see a movie about a bad, like show me the Smash Mouth biopic about
God.
the rise and fall of All Star. Like take me
Like
to
a
that
one-hit
world. Take me to that world. What's it
Yes.
like to rise and flame out immediately?
Oh my
Like,
God.
they don't change the sound at all. They don't really change anything except for 2 years. They're inescapable. Show me the process of Shrek, the Shrek producers coming to your door and saying, we're going to pay you guys
That's
like
so
$30 million for this. That's
so interesting.
That's a story that hasn't been told.
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to see a story of like, you know, even if they could run like parallel, like them and like a Nickelback or somebody that's like
Exactly,
that at the end
yes.
of it is very content. That is just like, no, it was great. You know, they're like now raising their kids.
Yeah.
They got a kid in high school. Just like it was great. You know, and in my 20s, I had a like, you know, a smash platinum record. Now I'm over it. I saw the world. I'm good. And then the other guy that's like still playing the troubadour, like trying his best, you know what I mean, to bring that back. It's just like, bro, like just not happy. You know what I'm saying?
There was a piece that I think Stereo Gum did this piece on. I can't think of the name of the guy, but remember that song in the early 2000s that you steal my sunshine. I was lying on the grass of Sunday. Sorry, we don't promote drug content here, but that's what the song started. And they found the guy who did that song, and he's just a guy now. He's just living in Canada, has a normal person job. Seems like he's married, he's got kids, and he was like, and they didn't even know how to find him. He doesn't have he doesn't have a SoundCloud page.
No.
He doesn't have a manager. He doesn't have artists contacting. They're just like, oh yeah, for a few years that was super fun. We flew everywhere. I met famous people. I had a good time. Yeah. And now I'm just doing my thing.
This is
Now I'm
great.
just a
It's like it was
Canadian.
great. You know, my 20s and 30s were incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't need
That
to
would be
try to keep
refreshing.
juicing that for.
I mean, it's basically the plot of the film That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks. But
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
I'd
That
like
Thing
to
You
see
Do.
a true
Damn, it
version
already
of
happened.
So, yeah.
Well, it was a good idea.
Yes.
At number 4 this week, Tori Kelly has teamed up with Corey Asbury for a new version of the song Reckless Love. Yeah. This release comes the same week as the release of Asbury's new devotional, which is called Reckless Love, a 40-day journey into the overwhelming, never-ending love of God. In a statement to Billboard, Tori Kelly said, quote, I have been a big fan of Corey's music for a while, and I've seen how his music has impacted people. I personally have had many experiences where I've cried tears of overwhelming joy while listening to Reckless Love, and it has filled my heart with a sense of gratitude. It is such an honor to be able to join Corey on this new version of one of the most powerful worship songs of this generation. The single Reckless Love, of course, hit number 1 on the Hot Christian Songs in March of 2018, won 2 Dove Awards, and was nominated for a Grammy. It was also the number 1 song of the year for both the Christian Airplay and the Hot Christian Songs of 2018. Here's a clip of their collaboration.
Overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99.
And next week, we can hear a little more about that because Corey's actually going to be joining us here on the podcast. Supposedly. He has come down with a so-called sickness before, and he's only coming back because I challenged him to a fight. If he did.
And we ran into him at Chipotle, and I picked a fight with him, and he said, "Fine, I will do your podcast." Reckless Love. This Tori Kelly is. I'm a huge Tori Kelly fan. I get to interview her when we had her on the cover. Man, she is a great artist and writes a lot of great music. But even hearing her skills as a vocalist on a song that she's collaborating with another artist on, man,
she can sing.
She's unbelievable.
I taught her how to play dominoes, so that's amazing.
Did you really?
You taught Tori how to play dominoes?
Yeah, now she's incredible at it.
Okay,
so I'm going to take that.
Where did that transpire?
I was at her house. We just went over. Me and her husband are pretty cool. So I just came over one day, hang out, and then I brought dominoes, and she was like, "I want to play." So taught her how to play. It's pretty funny.
Wow. Okay.
But she, vocally, I feel like, I mean, everybody knows this, but just like, I hope that of all that, all that you do to build a brand and stuff like that, like, I just hope that that's not lost in all of the Tori Kelly world. Is like, sister can sing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
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 I'm also interested with just the world of worship music, that you can just release the same song 7 times and somebody else can sing it and it still be your song. Like, that must be nice. Like, that's the part I don't understand. How you releasing the same song again? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, Israel Houghton did a Reckless Love. I'm like, don't that song already exist? You could just sing somebody else's song and that's your new single. Like, I don't know that world.
Lil Nas X did a version of that with Old Town Road.
It was crazy.
And it worked really well though. But I think the way that he got away with it is you never knew what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
Like, anybody could be on this song.
You're right. I mean, like How He Loves Us, the John Mark McMillan song. I mean, arguably the David Crowder one is more well known than the original. Same thing, you know, with Daniel Basha. I know, you know, Prop, you and I spent some time with him out in Montana. You know, he wrote the song God's Not Dead, which, you know, the Newsboys popularized, and then it became a movie, but it's actually Daniel's song. But in the worship world, that seems pretty common. You know, because it's not like, hey, here's a new version of it. It's like, no. This is an artist doing the song exactly as it was written.
I am singing his song.
But not calling it a cover. That's the weird thing to me.
Yeah, it's not a cover. Yeah. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
Well, I will say this. I like the collaboration on this one, because this is Tori Kelly and Corey singing together. Yeah. And you know, Tori is an incredible, like, if you can have Tori Kelly, I know she did a single with Lecrae a while back. And I mean, you cannot understate how great of a vocalist she was. She was a guest on The Late Show a few months back with Colbert, and they did a special like YouTube. I think we played a clip on the pod. They did a special kind of YouTube segment where she did a couple of songs just with John Batiste, and he was on piano and she was singing, and that was the entirety of the accompaniment was just piano. Yeah, and and that's what's great about this version of Reckless Love is the emphasis on the vocals. She is a crazy good singer, and
crazy good singer. Yep.
Yeah.
And if she refuses to answer my email and come on the Relevant podcast to co-host, I will challenge her to not a fight, but a game of dominoes.
Play some balls.
At Chipotle. Meet me at Chipotle. Bring the dominoes. Prop will officiate this match.
I'm fighting Corey with one hand. I'm playing dominoes with the other.
There it is.
I'm confident in my ability to come out on top in both of these. All right, number 3 this week. This is a good story. The Babylon Bee is beefing with CNN over criticism that their satire is tricking people. All right. What? So this is kind of a long explanation. Let me get through it before we start pulling this apart. Okay. Pull this apart. I don't know. Maybe somebody will take Babylon B's side. We'll see. Recently, the Christian satire site Babylon Bee posted an article titled "Democrats Call for Flags to be Flown at Half-Mast to Grieve the Death of Soleimani." The story quoted, again, this is satire, quoted Democratic Rep Ilhan Omar, having her say, quote, "The grieving process is painful but necessary. As a nation, we need to stop and grieve this great, austere, revered religious scholar. He was one of the good ones." The story, of course, is a reference to the recent assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani by an American drone strike. Rep. Omar was one of the first 2 Muslim women to serve in Congress, along with Michigan's Representative Rashida Tlaib. The article also included this line. This is a quote. "In a rare moment of unity with the squad, Pelosi gave each of the girls a hug, telling them to just let it all out in their time of sadness. Ocasio-Cortez didn't seem to know what was happening, but adjusted her glasses to look smart." The squad is a reference to the 4 female lawmakers, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Tlaib. It wasn't too long before the story became the subject of criticism, but it wasn't just the problematic implications and misogynistic jokes. The reason it caught the eye of CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan and author Cindy Otis is because a lot of people seem to think the story was real. Otis wrote, "A post from a satirical website has been shared more than 500,000 times saying the DNC called for the flag to be at half-mast. Some family members just called because their Republican friends on Facebook are circulating it like it's legit."
Oh my gosh.
O'Sullivan also cited several comments from users on social media that showed people who appeared to believe the piece was true. Kyle Mann is Babylon Bee's editor-in-chief, and he took issue with this criticism. He tweeted, "I truly believe these people just don't understand humor pointed at them and assume it must have some ulterior motive." All right. Now, the fake news debunking site Snopes has written about Babylon Bee before, and they fact-checked the piece saying this article from the Babylon Bee was massively popular, racking up more than 750,000 shares on social media within a few days of its posting. While those familiar with the Bee's content may have recognized this article as satire, some social media users mistook the piece of fiction as if it were genuine news. The Babylon Bee started as sort of a Christian version of The Onion. It uses AP style, using the format of a newspaper to lampoon culture, sports, and politics. And the Bee basically just took The Onion's look and tone and appropriated it to Christian culture ends. Yeah. But eventually, it took on a way more political bent. A lot of people don't get the Bee's satire, and they're routinely fooled by it. Christianity Today actually, quote, asked a representative group of over 800 Americans to tell us if they believed the claims based on some popular online satirical stories. They wrote that satirical articles like those found on the Babylon Bee frequently showed up in their survey. In fact, stories published by the Bee were among the most shared, factually inaccurate content in almost every survey they conducted. All right. Everybody up to speed? That was a lot there, but I felt we needed the full context.
Yes.
Prop, give us a little.
Why don't you go first? You go first.
Unload, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think
we won't. Chandler, don't cut a word of this.
about to just use mad cuss words. No, I think two things. I think the critique is not necessarily on Babylon Bee as it is just the ability to discern of the general public. I think I'm not to say that they have no culpability in this, but I think that like the site turned political because the culture turned political. Like that's what we're talking about. So it's cracking jokes about what we're talking about. You know, I think that particular article, the absurdity wasn't dialed up as much as it could have been. So that's probably why some folks got caught in it, but I think it more speaks to their own confirmation bias. Like you just want to believe that about these people. So, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be there. But at the end of the day, like, I just don't understand why a person can't just do just one more step of homework to be like, oh, this is a joke. You know what I'm saying? Or click another article to be like, oh, they're kidding. Like, oh, I can see now they're just kidding. And then, so I personally, on that particular article, it's not that I don't understand satire. I just don't think that one was funny. Like, I feel like it just wasn't very satirical. That was just more like, I'm just taking digs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not funny. Like I think, I mean, I'm not their head, editorial person, but I think there could have been a way to make that more funny so that it was so more obvious that this is satire. But at the same time, I like satire that you can't tell is satirical until you get halfway into it. But then again, I just enjoy that artwork. You know what I'm saying? But like, CNN should know better. Like, you can't be like, oh, people are falling for it. Well, fool, well, okay, guys, you know what I'm saying? But you can't just but at the same time, like, that's what I was saying about them not being culpable in some sense. You can't throw a mean joke and be like, oh, you can't take a joke. Like, you can't do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is, like, this isn't an isolated thing with the Babylon Bee, in that, like, there's a pattern, as that Christianity Today study found, of people routinely getting fooled by their brand of satire, specifically, and at a higher rate than other, quote unquote satirical sites. And like, the team at Babylon Bee, always, expresses their version of, some sort of displeasure when a mainstream media outlet calls them out for tricking people, because obviously I don't think that's their intention. But like Prop, you said, it's like some of the stuff that have fooled people, it fools people because it's just not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if the satire,
if there was an obvious joke,
there's no joke in that. Like, there's no joke in that. You're just saying something that's not true. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. That people find so plausible. Like a certain type of reader finds it plausible enough to share it legitimately. At some point, you're not making, like, I feel like the idea with satire is you want to make a point that challenges people to reconsider an opinion that they have. The point of satire is to show the absurdity of reality, so it makes people question reality. But if you're if you're ultimately just punching down or just kind of making fun of an ideological position that you don't like, that's not really accomplishing anything. It's not demonstrating absurdity. All it is kind of just making fun of people you don't like, and to the extent of
and I think the worst case scenario here is that the reason that this was a joke to them, or the idea of the joke, is that wouldn't it be funny if people like Omar, who was satirically quoted here, one of the first 2 Muslim women in Congress, was actually sympathetic to a violent terrorist who was killed in the Middle East because she's a Muslim? That seems to be sort of the underlying
which is like
assumption here. And that's not a joke. That's just xenophobic.
That was like, it's kind of just prejudice. Like, that's not a joke.
Yeah. And that's where I think that it plays on. And I have no idea whether or not, people at the Babylon Bee, what their feelings about Omar or Muslim. I mean, I think I have some idea about it, but I'm not trying to cast aspersions of them. But I think they're definitely aware of their audience's feelings about those things and play it on that.
Yeah, I think, what? So when you look at like The Onion, which I have like followed for a long time, it's almost like they're just better at it, maybe because they've been doing it longer. So they're just better at making, like you said, the greater point with the satire. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like what happened with this particular article is what you're saying. It's just like, you just don't like the girl. So that's what it seems like to me. You just don't like them. So you're just going to crack a joke about them. That's not, right. What?
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I'm not here to say they have to, like, and this is what, when we've written about this is what I saw us get accused of, was like, well, you just don't, you like the Squad or you like Nancy Pelosi, so you don't want people making fun of them. I really don't care. Like, you make fun of whoever you want to make fun of. Yeah, that's not the issue here.
Look, so when somebody says a bad joke and then you go, you didn't get it. It's like, no, I got it. It's not funny. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
But
it's an unfalsifiable premise.
Yeah. But it's like, who
really didn't get it?
That grandma who saw it on Facebook and shared it concerningly with her friends and is actually gonna, could potentially swing the outcome of elections. That's who didn't find it funny, because they didn't get it, and there might be consequences to your quote unquote satire that isn't, funny enough to make people realize you're joking. That's the concern.
Yeah. We can leave it there. Number 2 this week, the makers of the Christian movie
I'm ready to go fight at Chipotle right now, Prop. Let's go. Let's go pick a fight at Chipotle.
Wait till the podcast is over. We have like 20 more minutes on podcast.
Prop, we can go mix it up with a couple people at a Chipotle.
Y'all should try to invite some of the Babylon Bee writers onto the show. Be like, hey, be funny.
Yeah, we should.
They are welcome. They are welcome anytime.
Yes.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah.
If they don't come, I will fight them.
Yes.
Number 2 this week.
We're all fighting now.
If they don't want to come on this podcast, meet me at the nearest Chipotle and let's do this thing.
There's a Chipotle down the street. There's a Chipotle right down the street, halfway between the Relevant offices and the Babylon Bee offices. They know the one. Neutral ground. The makers of the Christian movie industry send up faith-based are using nasty comments to promote the film. Okay, so back in the spring of 2019, The Hollywood Reporter wrote about a new movie that will satirize lots of satire in the news today, but this is going to be interesting. The Christian film industry by focusing on 2 idiot friends, their words, who realized that all faith-based films make buckets of cash, so they set out to make one such movie of their own. Almost immediately, the mere mention of the concept drew the wrath of Fox News. The network brought on Dan Gaynor of the Media Research Center. Things got very personal very fast. Gaynor said, quote, "I'm always amazed at what hacks Hollywood wannabes really are, but they operate in an anti-conservative, anti-Christian industry, so targeting people of faith is a must if they want to break through. As for the film itself, few people will ever see it or ever care. It's just one more example of how the American media culture targets Christians as its favorite villains. People with morals, ethics, and faith terrify Hollywood, which has none of those things. Well, no argument on that last part there. Luke Barnett, who wrote and stars in the movie, however, told The Relevant at the time, quote, "I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor, and Vince is still incredibly active in his faith community. I'm excited for people to see this film. This is not a movie making fun of people who have faith. It's a commentary on supporting something blindly." Director Vincent Mescale, and I do apologize if I'm getting that wrong, added, quote, "What the Fox News article did was paint a negative light on the context of our film and the people behind it without getting context or facts. That's not how we feel conversations around sensitive topics should be handled. We're really excited about making faith-based and exploring some of the themes in the story and hope this film gives audiences of all backgrounds a good excuse to have honest conversations about faith, religion, and what they may or may not believe in." Now, instead of releasing a trailer, the duo has found another equally entertaining way to promote the movie by reading comments from the internet users, all of whom haven't seen the film. Here is a clip.
That's so great.
Of those comments.
Here are our top 10 favorite comments from Fox News and Breitbart readers about a movie that no one has seen yet. There were over 10,000. It's a lot of comments. "Permanent darkness awaits you. May it be soon." That's from Guns Ablazing. Thanks, Guns. Worries me. "I'd wager these two were the type to fry bugs using a magnifying glass as children." "They will laugh today. They will cry for eternity." Matthew 13:47 through 50. Is that what that says? "Sounds hilarious." Not. That's from Jelly Roll Jeff. "Another insignificant, irrelevant movie starring insignificant, irrelevant, unknown, and washed-up actors that no one cares about." Well, Jesus didn't die for everyone. That's from Repent to Life. That's the whole pitch that he did.
So I haven't seen this movie or anything, but
brilliant.
I am. The premise is on the money.
Yeah.
The premise is great. There's it's a real idea there.
I literally want to do that for my next record. It's just read all the
That's a
bad
good idea.
comments. Crap sucks. What is this, 2009? I got somebody
what you
said
get?
that.
What
I
is
had
this,
somebody say it. It was
2009?
like, man, this is
I didn't mean
2009.
it.
You
I
just
didn't
why are
mean
you
it.
rapping all rapidy raps? Like, all right. Because it's a rap song.
Oh, wow. That's decisive.
The one we get the most is more like Irrelevant Magazine. Bazing, never heard that one before. That's Babylon Bee. Yeah, I love that. The just someone pitching the premise of this movie ticks so many people off, even though these like Christian culture critics who constantly paint themselves as the victims and sort of this like manufactured culture war don't even have the facts about the film. And the guy's like, "Hey guys, my dad's a pastor. I grew up in the church. Like, we wanted to make an interesting movie about the church." It provides a lot more context for their kind of motivations. But I think it's great. The movie's called Faith Based, and the filmmakers, like Tyler, you had mentioned, have reached out to us a couple times, and I'm excited to see the movie. I mean, I think it's a really fun
I'm really
idea.
excited to see it too. The cast is really fun, and they've been, and in full disclosure, they have been in contact with us, and they seem like really stand up dudes. So I'm definitely curious to see what this movie is about, and I do wish I thought of the idea, because it's a really good one. There's something solid there.
Yeah.
I also I'm like, I think there's a bigger thing that bothers me is the idea that like a critique about an aspect of something somehow equals to persecution of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like as a believer, there are certain things about, Christian culture that I'm like, yo, this is corny. You know what I'm saying? But I'm on the team.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So so when I say, hey, I'm not feeling this for you, it's the same way of saying like patriotism's like all or nothing. Like if you think America's doing something that might be unfair, it's like, well, you just hate America. It's like, what?
Yeah.
How you can't just jump to that. Like, that's not always the case. It's just ultimately it's this idea that like you either only say nice things in full support, right? and you are not allowed to critique, right? Or you hate us. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I just think that that's a bigger problem. You know what I mean? That like, so like the guy said, he's like, I come from this. I am actually, I was clearly, he's like, I come from this. I'm just saying this is something that we need to think about. Like, that's good satire. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to think about this as a people,
In a way, it makes it even more. It's kind of like the difference between if you're sitting at a restaurant and you see like a stranger acting really badly versus seeing a member of your family acting bad. Like I'm going to have more. If a stranger does that, I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on over there. But if it's a member of my family, then I'm going to stand up and get involved because this is my responsibility. This is part of my crew. So of course I'm going to be getting involved and probably have stronger, more personal words than I would for somebody I don't know.
Absolutely.
Critique your side. Critique your own side, man. Everybody's got to be willing to do more intra-side criticism because that's your responsibility.
And Prop, that's one thing that I've appreciated about what you and Alma have done in Red Couch, particularly around conversations when it comes to, police and police violence and kind of different stories kind of involving that, because your father is in law enforcement and the perspective that you bring to those conversations shows, look, you can be critical of how the system is or how certain officers acted, but still have some sort of thoughtful empathy for people in law enforcement.
Yes.
And like, I've appreciated that perspective that you've brought. And I feel like the ability to be critical without wanting to like tear a whole institution down is really valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I value that because that's more where. That's where we all actually live is like, is in this place of like, we're on board. This is an in-house. I feel like almost everything we talk about is going to have to be some way, somehow like an in-house situation, not like a, something I'm just so far a part of that I could just like tear the whole thing down styles. It's like, well, nah, you got people in there. You got skin in the game always.
Yeah. Yeah.
And finally, this is where we're going to have to bring all of our critiques at the previous four things are going to come to bear on this one. On the number one story this week. Facebook will continue to allow politicians to lie in their ads. This was just announced today. Despite mounting pressure, Facebook has announced that it will not change its ad policies moving into the 2020 election season. That means that politicians will still be allowed to lie in political ads, which is likely to add extra heat to criticism that the platform has a responsibility to police its content more strictly. The company is also not tweaking its ability to let politicians, quote, micro-target their ads, which allows politicians to hone their messaging in ways that critics say allow them to be extra manipulative and, let's say, flexible with the truth. The 2016 election revealed how vast Facebook's role plays in politics with the spread of misleading memes, fake news, and dubious political ads that allows polarized communities to create tiny ecosystems of their own reality, however it is forced from the real thing. Since then, Facebook has been caught in the middle of competing criticisms from liberals who say Facebook has been lax in policing offensive and harmful content from hate groups to conservatives who've accused Facebook of unfairly limiting their reach. Facebook has apparently determined that neither criticism has merit, or at least doesn't warrant any action on their part. Now, this is a sharp contrast from other social media platforms, most notably Twitter, which announced last year that it would no longer allow any political advertising. Google still does allow political advertising, but has created some new restrictions in the wake of the 2016 elections. But Facebook will maintain a hands-off approach. This has already caused some drama for the election after the Trump campaign released an ad on the site that made untrue claims about former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. Facebook refused the Biden campaign's request to remove those ads. The head of global elections policy, Kate Harbath, told the Biden campaign, quote, "Our approach is grounded in Facebook's fundamental belief in free expression, respect for the democratic process, and the belief that in mature democracies with a free press, political speech is already arguably the most scrutinized speech there is." So there you have it.
Dude. This is tough. This is tough. Because I hate to like be that guy, but I kind of see Facebook's point to a degree. The problem is Facebook has gone back and forth on whether they are a content company or they are just a platform. Because if you're saying, well, it's just a platform, right? We made a technological tool. We put it in people's hands. They can do whatever you want with it. So they're saying we are more like the cell phone company, and we're not going to restrict the content of your buddy's text message to you. Like, well, if your friend texts something you don't want to see, you don't call, Verizon or whoever your provider is.
Yeah.
So Facebook is kind of taking that position.
But they also make content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where a lot of people see Facebook as similar to a content outlet that has an algorithm that does in fact promote certain content over other content and shows some sort of at least from an algorithm perspective, it has some sort of editorial judgment on content. So they kind of want to have their cake and eat it too. It's a complicated situation, and I think we just need to get rid of political advertising in general, or at least make it way more fun. Like, I was rewatching some old Parks and Rec, and they were showing Bobby Newport ads. Remember when Paul Rudd's character Bobby Newport ran city council against Leslie Knope, and his ads were just like, "Hi, I'm Bobby Newport. My dad knows John Cougar Mellencamp," and that was the ad. That's all I want. Just give me something simple that I don't have to. That is clearly there's no lies.
Just something fully absurd.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the situation Facebook's in?
Yeah, I think that like you said, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to throttle certain content, then you are making some sort of judgment calls. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like you have to choose which one. I also think if I'm speaking in reality for them, it's like, it's just too much money on the table. Like you can't, you can't walk away from that. Like, I mean, you can, but I think ultimately that's their position. But again, I think the bigger conversation is like, why are you allowed to make false claims in an ad? Like there's, I don't know what oversight you could have on that. Like, I don't know logistically how to do this, but like, how is that legal that you can make a false claim about another person and then just put the ad out? You know what I'm saying? Like, the lie is already out while the truth, a story where the truth is like still tying its shoe, you know what I'm saying? Lied and went around the world. And I'm just like, if you're running for, like, we're talking about our elected officials, like, why is there not already something before it even gets to Facebook? Like, you can't just make a false claim about a person, you know what I'm saying, and just put it in a commercial. Like, that itself should already be illegal, let alone what platform you put it on. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't know, like I said, like, logistically speaking, I don't know how we would like regulate that or just what sort of thing. All I know is when I submitted my podcast feed to Apple, it took them a few days before they let me before they made it public. And I'm just like, for a stupid podcast of just me and my friends, you know what I'm saying? You talk about swaying entire nations. There ain't no review process as to like, what you get to say, So I think that, to me, that's an even bigger, like, you shouldn't just be able to just make a commercial that's false.
Yeah. Yeah, without any consequence.
And if you knew you could do that, and your only interest is to get reelected, why wouldn't you? Like,
why wouldn't you?
It's silly for Facebook, and Facebook knows that they're not as stupid as they like to pretend over there sometimes.
They're totally
if there's no reason to tell the truth, and lying is going to get you ahead, then you're going to lie, and
you're going to pay me for your lie? All right.
Yeah, it's like, well, your money's good whether you're telling the truth or lying.
The money's still green.
I get rich either way. If your check clears, then that's fine.
I saw that thing. It said approved. It just the swipe said approved. I mean, what you did with it is up to you.
Check cleared, ad approved. Yeah. No, it's a complicated position that they're in, but I think ultimately, you can see why a platform like Twitter was like, you know what? Let's just not have any. Like, we don't want to fact check them. We don't want to get in the middle of this. How about we just keep political ads off the platform? And if people want to have a political opinion, maybe don't be informed by advertising. Yeah. Maybe actually do some research about the candidates' positions and propose legislation instead of who has the punchiest little, tweet or whatever.
I mean, I'm talking like from sitting on the floor as, a 5-year-old in between the cartoons where a commercial would run for like Michael Dukakis. I don't know. Right. I had sense enough to know as a 5-year-old that I think he just doesn't like that guy. Like, I had sense enough as a kid to know that, to be like, I should probably do my own homework about this. I can't just trust this commercial.
Yeah.
It's a commercial. You're selling me something.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
But what if I come to you? What if I'm Michael Bloomberg and I come to you and I say, Prop, I've heard politics. You reach a demo that I want to reach. I'm going to lie. I'm not going to tell the truth, but it's $1 million per ad that goes on your site. What do you do, Prop?
I don't take it.
You don't? Oh man,
my life doesn't change in either way.
Yeah.
Now, if it was like it can't be Bloomberg. Like, pick somebody else. That would be a little harder for me to say no to.
Okay, so
Listen,
that gives me a lot of comfort about hood politics, knowing that propaganda, we're going to be getting the truth. We're going to be getting it straight no matter what.
Can't be bought.
You can't buy hood politics.
It's like, okay, wait, what's the lie though? Like, tell me what the lie
what's the lie?
is.
Is it like an easy lie?
Yeah.
Like
is it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a 1,400 on your SATs. Okay, 2,500.
It's hold on, let me see. It says, do you want to vote for a person that beats up random people at a Chipotle? Dude, and it's a picture of Bernie Sanders. They're saying that he walks in Chipotle's and just sucker punches people.
I can't do that one, dog. Okay. Can't do that, dog. If he lying,
nothing against
I can take what if he
Bernie,
lying about himself. If he lied about himself, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I rescued a cat. Our cat's a rescue.
Yeah,
then
sure.
I could be like,
who's to say?
I mean, who knows? Maybe it is true. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He told me it was a rescue, or I ran the commercial. I don't know what to say.
I'm sure he would rescue a cat given the opportunity. So it's not like it's just that he hasn't had the chance to tell the truth yet. It's not his fault.
Yeah, to be fair.
He's had a chance to.
It's not anyway. All right, that was a spicy hot list. I think we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here before our ad sponsors pull out because you can buy the Relevant podcast. When we come back, Echosmith joins us. You're listening to Shut Up and Kiss Me. It's by our next guest, Echosmith. So the featured interview today is brought to you by Praying Through from Jarrett Stevens. Life is hard, but prayer doesn't have to be. We often think we don't have the time, energy, or words to talk to God, but it turns out you're already awesome at prayer. You just don't know it yet. Praying Through by Jarrett Stevens will help you to find your voice when words are hard to come by, to settle into the silence when God seems quiet, and to bring all your cares and celebrations to God, because he longs to walk with you and through them. Jarrett has been pastoring and helping people pray for decades, from NBA stars to local artists and everyone in between. In the book, Jarrett guides you through how to pray when you need help, feel worried, are drowning, need direction, or when all you hear from God is silence. Prayer is something we want to be life-giving, but it often just doesn't feel that way. Praying Through will help you overcome the obstacles that keep you from God. Get your copy of the book or listen to the Praying Through podcast at prayingthroughbook.com. So this week, indie pop outfit Echosmith released their highly anticipated sophomore album, Lonely Generation, before kicking off a world tour. We recently spoke with the band's singer, Sydney Sierota, about some of the record's major themes and why she feels like it's important to be vulnerable and honest in her music. Here's part of our conversation with Sydney Sierota.
Yeah, so I got to talk to Sydney. I was really excited about this album. I was a big fan of their first record. I love like indie pop. I love their style of music. So I was really interested in hearing what new music would sound like. But I had to ask, I felt like kind of the obvious thing to ask is the pressure of a sophomore album when their first album was so huge. Like Cool Kids sold 1 million copies of the single. Since then, Sydney has, collaborated with, for King Country. She's sung on stage with Taylor Swift during the Taylor Swift tour. They've had a lot of success. And so I kind of felt like it might have been an obvious question, but I feel like one, particularly for a young artist, Sydney's only 22 and already had all this success. Did she feel pressure, coming into a sophomore album? And here's what she said.
There's a lot of pressure when it comes to a sophomore album, especially if you were blessed enough to have success on your first album. And we were lucky enough to have that. So I'm really grateful for that pressure because it means that something worked on the first album. But that pressure can kind of get to you sometimes because you can get caught up in this thought process of, oh no, I have to make, all this music for other people and make sure that they like it and that it's the same enough where people will still like it, but different enough where you're not copying yourself and blah, blah, blah. But we really had to put ourselves in the mindset of what music do we want to make next? And what do we want to say with that? What's most important to us? So we really had to retrain our thought process as we were making the album, whether it was musically or lyrically, to really make sure that we were being artists and doing whatever came out naturally and actually let that flow out of us, because you can get very businessy when it comes to music and think, okay, today I got to write a hit song that people are going to, not be able to get out of their heads. But you don't want to think that way. And that's not how the greatest songs in the world were written. They were written because somebody went through something and it meant something to them, and it actually meant something to somebody else too.
And so, I appreciated that approach to the album, where they weren't just trying to make something that they knew was going to be a pop success. They wanted to do something that was going to be very authentic. And I think, the title of the record, Lonely Generation, and the lead single, Lonely Generation, according to Sydney, really informed the overall direction of the album. They knew, okay, we want this album to be able to be personal and address issues that people are talking about. And here's how she explained it and the importance of that first single, Lonely Generation.
We knew what direction we wanted to go in, and Lonely Generation, the song, really kind of helped lead that charge of what the entire vibe was going to be for the album and what the themes were going to sort of be for it as well. So once we knew musically what we wanted to do, it was really a lot more easy. It was a lot easier for us to figure out how the other songs were going to sound as well. Sometimes you just need that one song to really hit home and feel right to you in order to make the rest of the album. But lyrically, we wanted to be so much more personal this time around, even though the first album was plenty personal. But we've all grown up a lot since then and experienced so much more. And we've experienced so many more things that are a little more scary to talk about and a little more uncomfortable to bring up because, it might make you feel like you're weak or something like that. But I had to just tell myself that it was actually very strong and brave to be vulnerable rather than weak. So it was a really good process. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'm grateful for the exact amount of time, because we needed that exact amount of time in order to have some of these songs that came, only a couple months before we finished the album. So I'm really grateful for the process.
That one of the interesting ideas in that song is, the way that technology can kind of isolate us socially, and the kind of the irony of social media, of how it's meant to connect us, but really is something, a force that's driving us apart. That's a heavy theme to dig into, especially for, this kind of like bright, catchy, indie pop. Like, it's smart pop, but it's actually dealing with an interesting, kind of deeper issue. And so I wanted to dig into that theme a little bit and ask, why they felt like those were important things to address in their music.
We thought that was so important to talk about because we were feeling the frustration and the pressures of social media and the isolation that it can create for anyone and everyone, whether you have a lot of friends or a lot of followers or a lot of likes, or you might have even a little bit of fame. I mean, everyone feels that way, and everyone can feel alone and feel less than because they're constantly comparing themselves to this perfectly edited photo of someone as they're just waking up, laying in bed and their most natural self. So we were just experiencing this push and pull with social media, and still are. And we're trying to figure out a balance between being on there and connecting with our fans in a really personal and cool way, but also taking time off of social media to live our real lives and invest in real important relationships that, you know, you're never gonna get to invest in a real way online. So we just wanted to make a song about that because we were feeling frustrated and confused by it. And it was just something that we happen to feel. And I think a lot of other people feel that way, no matter how old they are or where they live. But especially, you know, being in the music industry and living in LA, there's already so much going on, and it's really hard to figure out who you are in the midst of it. And throwing social media in there with all those social pressures is a really difficult thing to tackle and to move on from. So, you know, I'm only 22 and I'm figuring it out still, but I'm getting there. And I think it's really important that we all realize it's a process, and we're never, you know, gonna perfectly master the balance.
You know, finally, the interesting thing about this album, like their first album, I even feel like to even a greater degree, is it's really personal. You know, there's a lot of these songs. You know, there isn't. You know, the lyrics aren't all ambiguous. You know, she writes about things that from her perspective that have happened to her, and it's a very emotionally vulnerable and authentic album, which I think is going to connect with a lot of people. But that's also something that I know if I was an artist, that would be incredibly hard to do. And so I wanted to ask Sydney about, you know, the difficulty of getting that vulnerable in their music. And here's what she said.
It was difficult to be vulnerable because I am just the type of person who, even to my friends, I want to, you know, let them know that everything is great and it's all good and you don't have to worry about me or anything because life is great and nothing is wrong. And that's been a big lesson for me as I've been starting to learn about myself, that I really need to address what's going on in my life, the good, the bad, and the in-between. And doing that through music has been really therapeutic for me and really a good practice for me for my daily life, to remember it's okay to go through hard times and it's okay to talk about it. In fact, it's actually better to talk about it instead of just acting like everything is okay and ignoring your problems. So it was a thing that it was a goal of mine to be more vulnerable in general in my daily, everyday life. But it also was a goal of mine to do that with the music because it kind of goes hand in hand. My music is so much a part of my daily life. And I think if I practice being vulnerable with my music and with my fans, then I can hopefully more easily do that with my friends and even my family. So it was a hard thing to do because, you know, we talk about topics in this album that are hard to talk about and maybe sometimes embarrassing to talk about, or even an opinion that a lot of people are going to disagree with. But I think it's important to have an opinion and to be honest, because if I go through it, somebody else is bound to go through it. And they probably need to know that they're not the only ones that deal with that sort of thing. So it's really helpful for everyone, for all of us to just be open about it.
Yeah, so really interesting thoughts there. The album is out today. Definitely check it out. If you like smart, like I said, sort of indie pop, this is an album that you are really going to enjoy. It's called Lonely Generation, and it dropped today. Thanks to Sydney and Echosmith for being on. I'm really excited for people to hear this record.
That was Sydney Sierota. Up next, we're doing Ask the Cast.
We could dance a little if you like to. My vagabonds a lonely road, a celebrated haiku. Contemporary, overzealous, think I really like you. Sing with me, paranoia, light blue. Piano was a deep red, your fingers were a green hue. Watch me make a rainbow out of sacrificial love in the club off the alley, feeling holy. The DJ was religion, I swear on the Pope.
You're listening to Sunny Duet by No Name featuring The Mind. Well, it's time for we haven't done this segment in a little while. This is fun. Where we do a little bit of Ask the Cast. So Ask the Cast question. We had you guys send in some of your questions that you wanted to ask the cast. We picked a few of them. We're running a little long, so we're not going to do too many today. But this one is I do want to hear your answer to this one, Prop. This one's directed at you.
Okay.
Andrew wants to know if you have any more collaborations with Aaron Marsh in store, and this is a two-parter. And what is your all-time dream collaboration?
Sheesh. So nothing on the docket for Aaron, but that was one of the funnest things in a long time. You know, we met on Twitter. It was pretty rad. You know,
Aaron's formerly of Copeland, right?
Copeland, yeah.
And we I fanboyed
indie rock
for a while.
royalty. Yeah.
Oh man, and I feel like that was like my version of like Chance getting the death cab for cutie guy. You know what I'm saying? That's my version. For sure. You know? Yeah.
That's a very good analogy. Yeah.
That's an astute. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Which I was kind of jealous that he got death cab, but I did get Aaron from Copeland. So anyway,
not a competition.
Yeah, it's not a competition. I already lost.
Chance.
But yeah.
But you lost Chance.
A dream collab, man, it's even hard to say. So there's like the unreal possibilities that like maybe I shouldn't say unreal, but like, you know, Kendrick, D Smoke, who apparently I get a tweet every day about how similar we are. It doesn't live too far from me either, but so that may be possible. I don't know. And then the other one I have tried for 3 records straight is Johnny Swim.
Oh,
we even have the same.
Put him on blast right now. Do it.
Let me say this again. We have the same manager. I still can't get these fools on a record. I'm just like, do y'all just not like me? Like, I just don't understand.
Have you met them? Have you met Johnny Swim?
Barbecues, like our kids were born a few months apart. Amanda wrote a forward for, you know, the I Am Becoming book.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're actual friends. Like, we're actual friends. I just, for 3 records straight, these fools have just left me at the altar. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just don't, man, I'm just like, I can't get these fools on a song. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Listen, I can't say this though. We have the same manager. I still can't get them on a song.
Well, I know they're listening right now, and I have a message. You guys better
Faithful
do this, or your next trip to Chipotle will be very uncomfortable. I will ensure that. That's not a threat. That's just a threat. It's not a threat. It's just the reality.
It's a reality.
Well,
maybe we can try and get Johnny Swim on this podcast. Prop, we'll have you back on, and you all can air grievances together. We'll work it out.
I think some reconciliation needs to happen too.
Please, reconciliation. I was just going.
Yeah.
Listen, and you know what? I think the collaboration needs to happen live. I think you guys just need to write a song on the spot, on the pod.
Oh my God.
I will accompany on various instruments, including a trombone, and it's going to be something that people have never heard before. So we'll make it happen.
I'm telling you,
we need to see this.
A brand new scene.
Brand new sound, brand new scene. They live 15 minutes from my house. Like, we
know what?
Yeah.
Right now, Prop, plug it. Grab your phone, call us back, and drive to their home and start pounding on the door, and let's narrate how this goes.
You know what I'm saying? We're just going to do it right now.
We'll leave the microphone on.
You're in there.
We're going to leave the tape on.
On some Dateline to catch a predator, like big old camera. See, you know what I'm saying? Poor Amanda's nursing her newborn, and I'm like, are we going to do the song? Are we going to do the song or what?
You're the cop on To Catch a Predator who hides in the bushes in one of those like hunting nets with leaves taped all over it. You're just hiding, waiting for them to come out of their home, and you jump out and you're like, why were we collaborated? You know, I don't see how that could go wrong.
I'm telling you, like, let me tell you, like, I'm the type of friend that, like, I knew they were pregnant. You know how they kept their pregnancies quiet? Like, I knew. Yeah. Because we're friends.
So you can't get the collaboration.
Can't get a song off. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, I think y'all just don't like my music. I just don't know.
I mean, they collaborated with me.
Right?
I'm not even a musician.
There it is.
But they just stopped by my house one day and were like, "You want to cut a song?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Sure, I can do so." I got my djembe out.
Right. Ooh, your djembe. Don't do that. Don't be on the nose.
I don't have one.
That's too on the nose, Tyler.
I don't have one. I don't have a djembe.
Good. You can't.
Tyler
I do not now and have never.
You can't
owned a
be
djembe.
named Tyler and have a djembe.
Okay, here's the thing. Like most Tylers who went to seminary, like most Tylers who went to seminary,
I didn't go to seminary. I did not go to seminary. I went to a Bible school.
Okay, how many, if I were to randomly go to any Bible school or seminary and walk in the room, and I would get a manifest of the room numbers of every student named Tyler. If I were to walk in the rooms, how many rooms would I find a djembe and or an acoustic guitar? I'd say at least 87%.
I'm in the 80s. I think 87%.
I'm a unicorn in that sense. That's true. It's a rare. I do. There is a guitar. I can't say there wasn't a guitar. I won't lie.
I want to hear from how many Tylers are listening to this show right now that are in some manner of religious school. I'll expand it to Christian colleges, and that are listening right now, and you're in your dorm room, and you're looking at either a djembe or acoustic guitar, and you'll be like, "They nailed it. They nailed this one."
You guys have to do this. You guys have to do this.
I want to hear right now how many Tylers.
Survey of Tylers. Like you have to just survey Tylers. Like just Tylers across the world.
Or have you ever owned a djembe or acoustic guitar?
Yes.
We try to put together a band of all Tylers, but when everybody shows up first day, it's like, does nobody have a bass guitar?
And they're like, all right, listen. Okay, listen. Let's just start with something we all know.
It's just all acoustics.
Yeah, it's 400 acoustic guitars and 2,000 djembes, and they look at each other like, all right, let's just start with something we all know. Anything from Jack Johnson or Dave Matthews Band's 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you all
know the song?
They know the whole Jack Johnson and the whole Dave Matthews catalogs. The whole catalogs.
Let's do something groovy. This is all Jack Johnson.
Something funky for them djembes.
Oh man. You have to own it, bro.
I won't deny it. No, I'm not denying it. I have the guitar. I'm staring at two right now.
Yes,
hanging on the wall there in front of. But the djembe was a lie.
Djembe's a reach. Okay,
I don't know. I don't know how those work. We better get out of here.
Yes,
I've already betrayed too many of the White Tyler Club secrets. I'm feeling they're gonna be knocking on my door any minute. They're not gonna disappear.
They know too much, guys.
Tyler, you read the rules. Tyler, in the podcast.
Okay.
Come on, Tyler.
You weren't there. You weren't there.
They guessed it. I didn't tell them. They guessed it.
It's not a secret.
Listen,
it's not a secret.
They know about the water bottles. They know about the Caribbean keychains. They know about the Jeep Wranglers. They know, guys. They know.
Yes. Well, as long as they don't know about that.
They know. They knew about the hacky sacks.
The high school love for reggae and Bob Marley. They know.
Well, at least they don't know that we like Terrence Malick movies, right? Guys, I have bad news. They know about the Terrence Malick movies.
Oh my god, I can't wait for this release.
All right. We'll wrap it up there. Again, we have our meetings coming right up here. I got to get going. Hey, many thanks to Echosmith for joining us. We love having them on. We love that band. Lonely Generation drops today. Also, thanks to Jarrett Stevens. Praying Through is available now. Make sure you check out that book. You can get your copy or listen to the podcast at prayingthroughbook.com. Also, make sure you check out Relevant Daily. It's a daily podcast where we bring you the top 3 stories of the intersection of faith and culture every single day. Looking forward to seeing you over there as well. And Prop, thank you for joining us, man.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
This was a long one. It was, and looking forward to your podcast too. As soon as you're done with this, head on over and check out Hood Politics.
That's right.
Prop's new podcast. The next in his rapidly expanding repertoire of podcasts that he hosts every single. What's next? I'm curious. What do you have? You gonna do like the Prop movie podcast or?
Man, I might just I don't know, man. Maybe do like a music one. Like a hip hop tea. Something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep them going.
I'll be down. Let us know.
Yeah. All right.
Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you all have a great weekend. I'm Tyler Huckabee.
Chandler String.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Propaganda.
Have a great weekend, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Do you want to vote for a person that beats up random people at a Chipotle? Dude, and it's a picture of Bernie Sanders.
Relevant Podcast Network.